안녕하세요, Ryan Walters. I'm here at a victorious Suwon World Cup Stadium where the Dragons pulled out a shocking 2-1 result. All the goals coming in the second half. Aodan, how did they do this?
Wow, it's so hard to believe. But I mean, you have to say, on the balance of play, the Dragons deserved it totally. The second half, they were amazing. They
came out really strong from the locker room.
Yeah, and we kind of expected Suwon to come on strong.
Yeah.
And we were hoping the Dragons would hold up, but it was the opposite. The Dragons came out really strong. They were the first to every 50-50. And to be honest, they totally deserved the victory.
Yeah, I think if you would have told me before they were going to get a win today, you might have thought that it might have been some lucky breaks, which, you know, we do need to point out that both of the goals for the Dragons came off a deflection. But we said this during the game, you can't really say they weren't earned. They, like you said, they bossed the play for a long time. They were getting a lot of good chances. They just, unfortunately, don't have that ruthless finisher right now. But the style of play this year, talk a little bit about that.
It was fantastic. I mean, we talked about it in the first half. They were very well organized, but I mean, it was just every 50-50 ball. They seemed to win every 50-50, and they all got them back into place. If they didn't win a ball, they knew exactly their role. And going forward, we had 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances from the 6-yard box that were well blocked by Suwon, or we were unlucky not to score. But overall, they were fantastic to watch. It was the best Dragons I've seen in maybe 5-10 years, I'd say.
Yeah, boy, if they can replicate even half of this performance for the rest of the year, they're going to be in good shape. I mean, just so many. We talk about this a lot in every single broadcast about how many balls are just going over the top. And last year, that was the Dragons' MO. Hoof it up to Jair and see what can happen. This year, so many smart, short passes on the ground, keeping possession. And for a league and some teams that seem like they're switching to counterattacking style, the Dragons seem to figure out how to keep and maintain possession really well today.
Exactly, and it wasn't just that, it was like the will to win. I mean, we bossed the second half for 30 minutes, then we scored, and then as we kind of expected, Suwon, being the home team, came all out, probably deserved their goal.
They did.
But what really impressed me was the way the Dragons then fought back again.
Yes.
We were thinking 1-1 would be a nice result, but the Dragons bossed it again, and then they, as you said, they got some lucky breaks, but at the same time they missed a lot of chances, and you wouldn't really think on the second half showing that Suwon were the home team. It was more like the Dragons being the home team.
I think talked about this every single time I've been here, and Scott Whitelock, our Suwon columnist, is kind of tired of talking about it, but that 3-4-3 is just, they got to get away from it for Suwon, because that back line, the Dragons were tearing them apart. Wanderson looked amazing on the left side, but after seeing 3 games here with a 3-man back line, you have to wonder how much of it was the Dragons, how much was Kashima in the match before this, and how much is just a pretty porous back line for Suwon right now. But for those of us wearing yellow, I think we'll take it today.
Oh, definitely take it. But I mean, even with Kashima, I watched the game, and Kashima didn't dominate like the Dragons did. I mean, they had some very dangerous counterattacks. But the Dragons were all over Suwon today. And you wouldn't really think, as I said, that Suwon were the home team until maybe those 10 minutes when they went behind. In fairness, they fought back well. But overall, if you're a Suwon fan, you'd be pretty disappointed with the display today.
It follows their poor home form right now. It's shocking from this team that on paper and on their day look like world beaters, but a plucky Dragon side came in here and got all 3 points.
Exactly, and in my preview, I said there were 2 caveats, and one of them was that they lost last week and they had a very poor home record last season. Perhaps doubt would, go into their minds, but I mean,
certainly is now.
Exactly, but you also need a well-organized, away team, and the Dragons were just really well-organized. And to be honest, it was, as I said earlier, it was probably the best Dragons team I've seen since the glory days, the FA Cup winning days and runner-up days.
Certainly since No Reyes had the helm. I think today it just looked like a team that, to be perfectly frank about it, a team that has a manager, as opposed to somebody on the sideline pointing and shouting. It just, like you were saying earlier, just so well organized. Everybody knew where they needed to be, and it looks like if they can keep this up, it's one game. Try not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but if they can keep this up and stay this organized, they're going to be better than the sum of their parts.
I think so, and as well, you got to remember, as we said many times, Suwon have played several games. The Dragons are just getting used to each other, so I think we're going to get better, and that's why I kind of disagreed with some of the editors' predictions.
I don't know
relegation.
who would have said such things. It is a long season.
It is a long season. I'll give you that. But you have to remember, it's the Dragons' first game. They look match fit. Suwon didn't look match fit today.
Well, like you were saying, every 50-50 ball went to the Dragons for the most part.
And for the last, when the game went to 1-1, you expect the home team then to push on after pulling it back. It was actually the Dragons who seemed to have more energy. So I think it bodes very well for the season. And I cannot see them getting relegated. As I said, pre-season, mid-table at least.
I said Sangju was going to get relegated.
But you said relegation playoff.
If they play like this, they're not going to be anywhere near that. Not with teams like Sangju, Incheon, and potentially others. I think Jeonnam will get out of that. But anyway, we have some celebrating to go do, so we're going to get out of here. There is another game that just wrapped up down in Jeonju. Matt Binns will be on that, and then there's another game kicking out right now. So we're going to get out here, watch a little bit of Seoul Jeju, and we'll be back this Saturday. So, questions, comments, concerns, get them in the comments. We're getting out of here. Dragons.
No. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to click the subscribe button, which is there.
Here. Right there.
Thank you.